Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It's very nice to have you here today. I've got a new Wee knife on the table. It's not super new. It's been a little while, but it sure is new to me. This is the Quinseris. 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 Okay. We've gotten to the point now in the knife world where they have made so many knives for so long that I think they are literally just throwing letters at a board until they come up with names. However, they made a beautiful knife. I love this foil carbon fiber, silver foil carbon fiber. That's right, it's got a really lovely milled titanium pocket clip. There is no lefty love on this thing, sorry about that. The blade has this really dark gray stonewash that is then ground off, and they left the grind lines. This is just gorgeous, right? It's almost it's kind of a trailing point, almost a Persian style blade. You guys know I love that high swept up, upswept blade, right? This is not a finger choil, do not be confused. It is, however, a really nice sharpening choil down at the base of the plunge, and the grind on this is perfect. This foil inlay is flawless. The whole knife, they matched the dark stonewash on the titanium to the dark stonewash on the blade. It's got a lovely full-length backspacer. It's got a lanyard spot buried back here. It's a liner lock. This thing is freaking gorgeous. The pivot is concave. And so it's just, everything about this knife is amazing. Now, these are, in fact, blade stops that you can thumb stud with, but they do make contact right there on both sides with the scales. There's a blade stop on the inside as well, but I'm pretty sure. I haven't taken this apart, and I'm not that interested. I don't really do that anymore unless I have to. Now, it's not hollow grind. It is a standard flat grind, but it is a relatively high grind. And so it comes down to an absolutely lovely edge. I will say, and it is really just comfortable. I got relatively big hands. I used to weigh considerably more than I do now. And so my hands used to be bigger, but they're still relatively big. And so my thumb lands right in this little cutout. I don't know what you call that. Really, I have to tell you, it was the look of this knife that made me bring it home. I winced a little when I did it because the Quinseris here is $410. But here's the thing. That's the world we live in now. In 2016, 2017, when I moved from being a person who had knives because I did outdoor stuff to someone who was collecting pocket knives, I can distinctly remember the first time I spent $200 on a knife. Those days are gone. Now, you can still get, Kubi and some other companies make really nice knives in the $200 to $250 range, but if you want the build quality and overall, whatever it is, that we and Riot bring to the table, and by that I mean the action on this thing is superb. Oh, when I was talking about the studs, I forgot to mention there's a really nice little flipper tab back here. Action on this thing is amazing. Fitment is perfect. This is a machining, this is an exercise in superior machining. And if you want that, well, in this case, it costs $410. I've had this thing in my pocket a fair amount. It has yet to show, maybe a little up here, it has yet to show anywhere. The blade is M390. As you can see, it's all titanium beyond that. It's a relatively straightforward build. Again, except for this foil carbon fiber, which is just gorgeous. They make these in a bunch of different colorways. this one, of the ones that were there, this one's my favorite. They make one in green and other colors. You can do that if you want to. I'll put a link in the description to, I don't know, like Blade HQ or somebody will have it. Let's get some specs out of the way, shall we? You get 3 3/4 inches of cutting on 4 inches of M390. Grip area from behind the flipper tab, 4 1/4 inches, because you can come all the way out here to the end because of this shape. Just nestles into the palm really nicely. Tip to tail, we are 8 3/4. This is a big knife. Not enormous, but big enough to be satisfying. How's that? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that way. Anyway, it's a nice big knife. Closed length on the Quinseris. Coming in just dead on 5 inches, which is nice. Now, it is a fairly wide, tall knife. So in the pocket, yeah, we're talking about minimum of 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more at its widest. You're going to know it's there. It has a nice, the clip is nice. It's not super deep carry. Do I have anything that I can use as a pair of stand-in for jeans? Well, no, because I'm an idiot. I've only been doing this for coming up on 6 years, and I still don't think of these things before we get started. But there you go. There's not a lot of knife sticking out of the pocket. Everything is T8, by the way, which is a very nice touch. Let's do some size comparisons. Tools that you may be a little more familiar with. Here it is against the Pyrite from the folks at CJRB. How about a 940? There it is against the Benchmade 940. You know, there was a time when the 940 was one of those knives that everybody knew, but I think those days have sort of passed. Now, do I have? Yeah. Let's do the one knife I'm sure most of you have at least held. Here's the bug out. I do love Benchmade knives. I do. I have 30, something like that at this point. Here it is, the Ritter Hogue. Or if you're interested, here it is, the full-size Griptilian. Now, of course, these two knives are the same designer, so they're very similar in design. As you can see, the Quinseris is a large and excellent knife. Some people don't like, some people don't like liner locks. Some people don't like frame locks. Some people don't like button locks. Turns out it is impossible to make everyone happy. I sort of prefer either frame locks or a bar lock, like the Axis style. But there is a reason that they do liner locks, especially big ones like this. Without having a cutout on this side, it is an incredibly comfortable knife in the hand. It is very, very slicey. I mean, I'm cutting ribbons. It's also very pokey, in case you need to do such a thing. You know, just maybe help someone understand that they need to move along. Let's weigh the Quinseris. Quinseris. Shit, I don't know. That's a nice knife. All right. The Quinseris comes in at 4.9 ounces, which is, well, I mean, it's a 4-inch blade, so we are right at that ounce per inch. Well, I mean, a little over, but still, it's not a lightweight knife. If you're backpacking, this may not be the tool for you, but that's why they invented the bug out, right? Stuff like this is what got me into collecting in the first place. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I recently picked up a really nice full custom knife. Oh, sorry about that. Banging stuff. I do enjoy that knife. I love it, in fact. But this is what brought me into knives. Really well done. Factory. The consistency of a really well done factory knife is just beautiful. right? And the fact, I'll give you an example. If you want to spend $200, you can get yourself something like this. This is the Pyrite, but in titanium and S90V. The folks over at CGRB are really setting a tone with this thing. I think this is probably my... I was going to say it's my favorite small knife, but that's not true. That goes to... the Spy Nano. This is, without question, my favorite small knife. Anyway, still, the fancy Pyrite is really nice. You can get the $50 one. It's excellent. I have one. But if you want to spend a little more money, you can bring yourself up into competitive materials with stuff like the Quinseris here for half the price, which ain't bad. Anyway, let's take a look at how much of this M390 they give you. Oh, I want to point out real quick. The blade is essentially, it is naked. There's the color from where they didn't grind off the really deep stonewash, and then right there, little tiny letters, little tiny numerals, M390. That's fantastic. You guys are kicking ass. Way back here at the thickest point, 150 thousandths or 4 millimeters. That is a nice slice of M390. This is... if you were not afraid of the price, and I get it, that's a lot of money. We Knives, just as a company, is absolutely kicking ass right now. You can get their knives for less money. You don't have to get the fancy, silver foil carbon fiber. They make plainer designs, so we're talking about $300 to $400 range. But man, if you've been thinking about this knife, and I have to tell you, this is that kind of design where I think that people see this on Blade HQ or over at Knife Center or whatever, and they either really dig it or they go, eh. And if you go, don't worry about it, it's not for you. But if you've been thinking about this, but just kind of questioning, should I do it? Is it worth the money? I think it is. And in this day and age, when $300, $400 is not unusual for a high-end pocket knife, I think you are getting a lot of knife here for that money. I do. And it is really well done. Anyway, this is the We Knives Quinseris. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.